Hello and welcome to it's our joint teams into round 15. My name is Ben. I'm from SC Insider. This is Chris, some other guy.
Hey, I like the different intro. Look at this guy. He's making shit up on the fly. They call that improvising.
They do. Sometimes you got to pay double for that kind of action. It's a brave strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I like it.
Wearing the MND beanies. We got this delivered. We're in Queensland, so it took a little while to get it to us.
Yep.
So that's why we're wearing it today, just to represent. Chris didn't even know. I bought you a little present, mate.
Hey, look, this guy, just loving it. Actually, no, I really respect that. And it's for a good cause, which is always good.
Yes.
And they are actually really, really warm. Obviously,
Surprisingly,
someone in Melbourne designed them. So
yeah, true. That makes sense. Now, joint team reveals. We've sent a little tweet and on the line to Swizz, see if he wants to join us and talk about his team. Just because most of our teams are kind of finished now, so we figure a little bit of a joint podcast where we go through, hey, this is how we scored, this is how many leagues we won, etc., and then covering any injuries we have, that sort of thing. So it should be a little bit more quid pro quo.
Yeah, and obviously the idea of this is it's a little bit more specific, obviously, to our individual teams, but it shouldn't be too long either.
And SC Insider 100, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all our audio platforms as well for the audio podcast. I think we'll release this on the line as well for our online listeners. Yep. Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, Stitcher, you name it. Chris, let's jump straight in, mate.
He's gone hell for leather, and I respect that. All right, well, this week, so I actually obviously tweeted, I told everyone how awesome my team's going to be this week. And look, it was good without being amazing. I did score 1863, which was not the best score of the 3 rounds, but it was definitely in comparison to everybody else. I did manage to field 18, which was good, but two of those guys scored under 30, so fuck them. So I will get into my teams. I went up in rank substantially. I was about 1,300 rank. I went up 740 ranks to 537, 37 places outside of where I wanted to be at the start of the bye rounds. But look, I'm not going to complain about it. And I've exited the buy with a substantial amount of cash and enough trades, hopefully, first of all, to finish my team, and second of all, to get me through to the end of the year. So we'll see about that. Now, moving on. This is how my team is looking right now. So let's first of all start by moving all of my stupid premiums off the pine.
Here's one we didn't prepare earlier.
Yeah, right. So obviously I had Lockie Jones. So he's out for 4 to 5 is listed on the website. And so just for those playing at home, it is another hamstring injury. And when you have a recurrence of a hamstring injury, they always take precautions a second time around. Generally, it doubles the healing. So if you were out for 2 to 3 like a standard hamstring, now you're going to be out for 4 to 5. So he's a must trade in my opinion, and I suppose he's probably made enough. You know, with that 29, his break evens dropped down to 69. So you're probably worth trading anyway, to be completely honest. So he'll be one to make way this week for me. And that's probably a good idea there. And so going through it as well, the other obviously really bad pick for me this week was Sam Walsh obviously didn't do much with his tag. We did obviously warn everyone with that on last week's pod that there was likely that was going to be the situation.
Shout out to the one Twitter person who didn't listen to us and made him captain.
Yeah, right. And also I had who else was the one that scored like under 20 or under? John Newcomb. Yeah, so I had John Newcomb. Didn't really get near it. I didn't even really know what he was doing. The great news about John Newcomb is the coach came out and said, yep, he's going to be playing next week and he's going to get another opportunity. So it's not all bad news for John Newcomb owners, but his break-evens are still negative 40. So hopefully he can bump that back up and pump those numbers back up.
Either someone's talking about me, Chris, or this beanie's really warm because my ears are burning.
They are. They are burning. So look, this week I've got a couple of options. Now I did. So I should tell everyone. Last week I was planning on trading Impey, and I was planning on getting Dangerfield in. I got drunk on Friday night. I had a huge work party. It started at midday. Actually, it started Thursday night. Thursday night I went to the football up here, corporate box at Suncorp Stadium. Started drinking. I took Friday morning off work to recover, and then I had an end of financial year staff party starting at midday. So I started drinking at midday, and then I went to a mate's place to have some more drinks and brews, and I completely forgot that I needed to. I had reverse trades. I completely forgot that I need to bring Dangerfield into my team, so I didn't do that, and it meant that the only way that I could field 18 was by holding Impey. So I did that, and got kissed on the dick, which was great.
I actually thought you got rid of him because I was like, Chris, did you get rid of Impey? Like, no, I kept him. I was like, what?
Dude, in the first quarter when he scored 50, and I'm just sitting there going, how am I getting this much rub at the green? It felt like West Coast at a home game. It was great.
A lot of people traded Impey too.
Yeah, and look, I still think it's probably the right thing to do. So now I'm in this sort of weird predicament where this week I traded Grundy early in the season. And I traded Riley O'Brien last week to allow me to do all my upgrades, so including Darcy Parish, who came in. And I can't believe he only got 3 points of scaling for that. He kicked the match-winning game-sealing goal and got 3 points of scaling at full time.
No points there, mate. He was slow starting too. Parish went big second half.
Yeah, there were points where he was actually getting tagged by Shields. So Shields is rotating from Merritt to Parish. And then there was that third quarter where he just went absolutely freaking nuts and got like 60 points in the quarter or something stupid.
Yeah, I hated it.
Like, I was so impressed with his ball use, which is not usually one of Parish's strong suits. And that's the only reason why he scored 115. Like, his DT to SC score this week was insane. Like, he just used the ball perfectly all day. So, the only reason why I got that score. So, I'm really happy with his first game.
The reverse Taranto.
The reverse Taranto, exactly right, which is the complete opposite of what he did on the night. So to get 4, I had to sacrifice not getting Bolton this week, which was also my plan. And I had to go for either Toby Green or Langford. I, again, coin flipped that and came out in the right end with Toby Green. So I was pretty lucky there as well. So yeah, it was good. So this week I've got to make a decision. Do I go early and bring in Grundy now? Or do I get Dangerfield? So I've got the 2 guys that I want to get in my team. I've got 6 trades and 200 grand. The only way I can get both is by using 4 trades. I've worked that out, unless magically Waitman can get up to about 370k. But by the time that's going to happen, it's not going to be worth, like, it's going to be 3-4 weeks, even if it does happen. And I'd rather just pay extra, use the extra trade. So next 2 weeks will be Grundy and Danger, probably. My decision this week is, do I trade Impey this week to Grundy and then play CCJ on field? Or do I hold Impey, trade Waitman early, get Grundy in now? Both of those are options all on the table. If I do that second option, it means that I can't trade in Luke Edwards. I have to trade in, say, a Bramble or a 102k non-playing player like a Chug that I can switch with Madden and then I'll have a little bit of flexibility there. I've also considered Kieran Briggs for the same reason. Chug. Yes. Good one.
Sorry. Wasn't very good.
And so I think for the first time ever, I really don't know what my trades are going to look like at this point of the week, which is like really awkward. So I played around a little bit today. I'm thinking that Impey to Danger is not going to happen. I think I'm going to wait 1 more week on Danger and get Grundy, and I'm going to go Impey to Grundy. And then play a Coleman Jones as my F6 this week. Or potentially even I might loophole him with Waitman, depending on how I can move my team around. So if I bring in Isaac Chug and put him in like a switching with Madden, I can actually loophole Waitman on Friday night. What I'd love is I would love if Coleman Jones was actually playing earlier than Waitman, and then I could actually see his score, then make the decision. But because Brisbane play then, I get locked out of Fullerton, I get locked out of Madden, and I get locked out of so yeah, it's really frustrating.
You're right.
That's my plan for this week.
C and VC.
Oh yes. So I have looked at this. I'm definitely 100% locking in VC Steel. That's happening. So I'll be locking that in. And captain is likely going to be McRae, but I'm also considering not doing McRae. I have a lot of options, but the pure reason is West Coast midfields are just about to get a lot better. They've got Kelly and Shuey coming in this week, so that means they'll have their full complement of midfielders in Yo, Kelly, and Shuey. I think Yo goes to someone, whether that's Bont or McRae, I don't know, but I don't like the idea of West Coast complete midfield against. I know there's going to be a loser out of that, and I don't know who it's going to be. But a captain option when you know that it's going to be a rough scoring, it could be a rough scoring game for some dogs mids. I don't know. I'm actually kind of going away from it and leaning more towards, say, a Gawn versus Sam Draper. And I know that Gawn really hasn't shown up in, especially against games against weak rucks this year. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange week, but I'm definitely doing VC Steel. So hopefully that comes through, and then I'll be able to readjust and realign.
Not tempted by a VC Neil into Steel?
No. Mark O'Connor has already been flagged to go to Neil. He destroyed him earlier in the year. I don't necessarily
he was
think...
a bit injured though.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to impact him this week.
If they're so important taggers to Geelong, then why didn't they try and shut any of those Bulldogs down last week?
I think they did. They tried. It just didn't really work. I really don't mind Neil. I just don't think he's got a 140 in him this week. I think he'll still go, say, a low 100, like 105 to 115.
Since we spoke about it, he's averaging like 123 point something.
Yeah, you might actually get one back on me. I've got full faith in him now for the rest of the season because he looks like
he looks good. He looked much better. He looked much better.
Lockie Neal looked so good, man. He was at the fall of every single ball from a contest, which is just
he was working a lot harder. Is it my turn?
It is. It's your turn. Ooh. So that's me for the week, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. And now we're going to go on to.
Since when do I let you go first? Is that? Is that a thing? Yeah. Ooh.
Yes, the burn factor. So you are still ahead of me in rank.
Yes, I am. I'm 320. I went up 210 places. Now, here's the thing. I had made a perennial mistake. So I scored 1769, a nice little meal for two to finish out the round. 320th overall. So I am happy with my overall rank. Not as good as it should have been, and I made a pretty bad mistake, which is my own doing. We'll get to that, but...
We've all been there.
I should have made some probably more aggressive moves. I was trying to play the long game a little bit on the person I brought in, and that hasn't worked out. So that's the issue I have. I should actually be closer towards 200 if I had have made the moves that would have been more beneficial. So I'll have a look at my team. Let me reverse these trades here nice and quick for you. Actually, it's pretty easy. I'm going Lachlan Jones out, Madden out, and Shai Bolton in. So that's what I am looking to do. And that's the easiest way to actually move forward. So get rid of two rookies. Edwards in, Bolton I can actually afford, and it leaves me 2,000 left in the bank. Now,
I like it.
The big mistake I made is, and I spoke about this last pod, I was debating it with Chris. We were picking up some gas. That's not a euphemism. And I was considering, hey, do I get Langford? Because will he average...
That bench, it's basically the entire Hawthorn.
Hey, it is too, actually.
Extended bench right there.
Shit, that doesn't give me many loopholes. Well, all of them could play.
Actually, they're all loopholes.
Well, they are pretty much all loopholes. And the thing was, I was like, okay, well, can Langford average you 100 for the rest of the year? Toby Green, if he gets you a 95... Is Langford will earn more points for this season, so that 5 points, because Green played an extra game, so I was like, will Langford average 5 points more than Green? I was like, I think he does. Aaron Hall, I wasn't sure about the Luke McDonald factor, and in the end, right, Clangford, as Chizo pointed out, fucking Clangford, got a 72, right? He had a bye for me, which was good because I had him last week.
I actually don't think he played that badly.
No,
he just turned the ball over. Honestly,
But the problem is that both of the people that I was comparing him to averaged 115 or roundabouts for the two games that I could have used them. Both had the early bye. Green and Hall both went 125, 130, and 100-ish, right? So I think it was around 115, give or take a few points.
Yeah.
That hurt me big time. That is, I think I worked out from the round 13 bye, I think it cost me about 80 points. And then the week just gone, it cost me another 50 points-ish.
So it's 130.
Yeah, so that's probably from 320 to about 200 or ish, So that's
a lot in the top 1,000. There's 100 points between as I said, 1,000 and 600.
And now I need Langford to really average over 100 just to make that call. But that's something I'll reflect back in. I still am happy with my placings. I've got a finished team now. Full team with only 2 trades left. Bolton is the one in for me. Could be just because Richmond have a soft draw coming up. I trust his recent scoring patterns, which is funny because I was so keen on Marshall, but I don't need the cash anymore. Yeah, Marshall, he's a good in, and he should be someone that people are considering if you don't have a full team yet and you have a couple of spaces. But for me, Bolton, I think soft draw. His body's been a little bit more reliable. He looks really good, and I can't trust. I can't get him now. With 2 trades left, would you trust Marshall at all? This coming back in with his foot and everything else.
Well,
I like
right
him
now. In 2 weeks when his price drops to 430k. Sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want to finish your team now. So overall ranks, you might as well. Well, for overall, you might as well even just pay 490 or whatever it is. It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
or if you have
I think
time to
CCJ
wait.
is serviceable enough to be able to swing anyway and cover you in a short week. Like he's playing that well. So
I plan on looping CCJ with Impy possibly, depending on how that kind of goes. If anything 80 plus, I might even take because Impy is 50 or 110. That's a pretty big gamble to make. Edwards, I think, will still play. I think he was really good, even though they might have some inclusions. I'm hoping he still plays, so we'll see
I really hate that you've got Bont and Oliver and I don't have them.
Yeah, well, I like my side, to be honest. I got a point of difference. Ryan's a little bit more unique there. Whitfield was really good on the weekend. But Bont, Oliver, McRae, Steele, Laird, Neal, Mitchell, Walsh, love it. Zeeble, Bolton, Dangerfield, Langford, Dustin, Impey, not the best, but serviceable. Lloyd, Stewart, Ryan, Whitfield, Ridley, Houston. Houston's probably the weak one, but he's been chipping away from some near hundreds and looking a bit better.
I reckon your midfield's probably 50 to 70 points a week better than mine. Your defense is probably 30 points a week better than mine, and my forward line's probably 50 points better than yours. So I reckon your overall team is
Toby Green.
Well, dude, I've got Aaron Hall, the GOAT.
Aaron Hall was on all at halftime. I was loving life.
Yeah,
and then,
you
and then he was doing the
crow.
And then he was doing the
You did the Chris. You went the full early crow.
And then he was doing the 1-2 handball and then kicking it long. And I'm sitting there going, and they just looked for him too, which was so painful.
It felt like at
they looked
halftime
for him.
He got a rocket and they up his ass and was decided to play.
And then they looked for him for the run and dash, and the Lions were just like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just let you go.
Yeah, and I suppose you were probably excited by Ridley's return to kick-ins and form, which was quite nice as well for those who held Ridley.
You're assuming I watch Essendon games, but yes.
That's true. I did make an ass out of you and me. All right, well, cool. Look, I really like your team. I think you're in a good spot. The only fall down that you're going to have is potentially the trades that you have.
Yep, so 2 trades, but that's kind of what I knew when I was looking. You get to that point in the season, you're like, oh, this is great. I've got all this cash and all these rookies. And then you go, hang on, I don't have as much cash or rookies as I need.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, fuck, I need to, get some people in, and I'm going to have not many trades left to finish my side. So, hey, look, it's all good until it's not. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. As long as I don't have too many long-term injuries. If a KO, touch wood, a knockout, touching wood again. At least I'll have some possible bench coverage for a week.
Yeah.
Bianca hopefully still plays. I can switch him. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Otherwise, Edwards, I might even ignore Edwards, have a forward mid possibility or something, so then I can actually swing it. We'll see how teams go, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. I really like that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm hoping... who's a Brisbane player that still needs to play? Cockatoo.
Yep, and Eli Smith's still injured.
Yeah, yep. So hopefully...
Cam Ellis-Yeoman came back from injury this week. They've already announced that one of Dev and Reece Matheson will be out this week for Zorko.
Yeah, I do wish I kept Zorko, but unfortunately there's no love in the overall game.
There isn't.
No, and that's it. Are we trying to tee in Swizz? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I think we're going to jump on the next podcast now, and we'll see you on the other end, guys. But thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll ask him about his team there. So that's it. For me, I think I'm being coaxed into VCing Steele here and probably go Gorn. Part of me is tempted. Everyone's just writing off Lockie Neal. I was only one of 166 people last week that had a VC or a C in the top 5,000 that had Lockie Neal. And he was the best player for last week. You
know who I don't actually mind VC, like a sneaky VC on Dangerfield this week? I've just got a feeling, because the Lions aren't going to tag him. They're going to run him head-to-head against either Lions or Neal. You've got Mitch Duncan, who's dropped out of that midfield now, obviously with that injury. And I think that he said that there's, their plan is really to ramp him up in another 2 weeks. He'll be at 100% capacity. And you can see that in his time on ground. Every week he's getting more time on ground. I just got a feeling he's going to explode. That's why I'm like, do I get him this week?
I don't think he's going this week. He looked a bit gassed last week, to be honest, until the last quarter where he really pulled it out. But he looked a bit gassed to me. So
we'll see.
I actually think Walsh is a sneaky captain chance this week. Looking at Adelaide.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
After a disappointing round, players of that caliber, I think they have a real grit and determination. Plus, Carlton, I think, are absolutely under the fucking pump. Something has to give, and for me, I think they're going big.
I'd take.
I don't think I'd go straight
as a captain. Yeah,
it's a tough week though. All the tough games are a bit iffy.
Yeah.
Gorn, I think, is probably just a safe one because it's again, stick with the herd.
Yep.
So probably VC either say Neal or Steele into a Gorn or something would be pretty beneficial.
Yep.
Otherwise, see how you go.
Yep, I agree.
I think I'm with you on the McRae and Bond. McRae did do well a couple of weeks ago versus Perth over at the Optus.
Yeah,
but
it's just
tough,
I
especially
don't know
after
what
he
to
gets.
expect out of West Coast, and you got to remember as well, Nick Nat's gonna monster whoever they've got in the ruck there.
But the Dogs are used to that though. They've played 4 or 5 years of just snaking taps.
It's 100% accurate. It's just like,
yeah.
Do I think McRae can get a 115? Yeah, but do I think he can get
140, 50? Yeah.
No, not this week.
Painful.
I don't mind. If I had Oliver, I'd be tempted to do that because I think he'll just go head to head with Parrish all day.
I mean, actually, yeah, you're probably right there.
Yeah. So that's probably what I'd do if I was you, but I don't have Oliver. So
no, you don't have that issue, do you?
No.
That selection.
And Essendon won't tag him. No chance.
Yep. Well, that's us. Stay tuned. We're going to go for another podcast now, guys, and come up with some hot topics for those help you finish your teams.
Sounds good, guys.
We'll talk then.
Catch you later.
Bye.